Prime News, we are coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Ajwa Tinkrama Domina. Coming up this afternoon, as fuel prices rise, two driver unions serve notice of an increment in transport fares effective Saturday, April 13.
Within 24 hours, it will increase twice. Previously, it was selling around 11 cedis per liter. Now we are buying it around 14 cedis, 70 pesos. And then spare parts too has gone up. Insurance premium has gone up.
Also coming up, Kumasi Central Market traders threaten 5-day continuous protests over a halt in the market redevelopment.
They say, yeah, but 6 months. At the end, why am I? He got in the Dahona. Until say demonstration, yes,
Still in this package, Ghana Mine Workers Union declares 5-day protest on mining lease granted to Future Global Resources Limited, which takes over from the Bogo Suprisia mines.
15th of April 2024, we begin the demonstrations and we begin the picketing at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Subsequently, on the 18th, the 19th, we are at the Jubilee House to demonstrate because we believe that we are being held to ransom.
Later in the bulletin, Ghana to experience hotter temperatures this year. Scientists blame it on human factors.
Unfortunately, 2024 is going to be hotter than 2023. That is the trend, globally and nationally. Every year is hotter than the previous year on average. And it is those spikes which are the problem. We have made a mess, as I've been saying for decades now.
Please stay with us for details of these and more stories coming up your way in the next 30 minutes. The bulletin is live on Facebook on Citi 97.3 FM and around the globe on citinewsroom.com. We are also across the country on a number of affiliates. In the western region, you can find us on Adwempa 100.7 FM in Takwa, Beach 105.5 FM in Takrade, Sky Power 93.5 FM also in Takrade. In the Bono region, this is Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyang. In the Ashanti region, you can tune into Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi, Orange 107.9 also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, this is Revival 99.3 FM in Tajevu, VOV Radio 95.7 Hohoi. In the northern region, you can tune into Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM Upper East. This is Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. And in the Upper West region, this is Tusong 97.3 FM in Wa and Drapa 96.1 FM. Please stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Thank you for your company this afternoon. Now we begin with transport fares because the Concerned Drivers Association says recent increment in the price of fuel has necessitated an upward adjustment in transport fares. The increment, according to the group, will take effect from Saturday, April 13, 2024. The Deputy Secretary of the Association, Asunaba Nana Redu, says there will be a 15% increment for short distance or intra-city transport and a 20% increase for intercity or long distance journey. He also added that the prevailing economic difficulties and other factors are worsening the living condition of transport operators and drivers, hence the decision. We'll stay on issues of transport. We'll bring you that in setting our subsequent bulletins. But the National Union of Tricycle Operators of Ghana has increased the price of fares by 20% effective today, April 8. This increment, according to the union, follows a rise in prices of spare parts and fuel. But let's go back and hear from the Deputy Secretary of the Concerned Drivers Association, Asunaba Nana Redu. We will bring you that insert as well, but let's bring you some more stories now. The Ghana Mine Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress has declared a 5-day long protest at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and the Jubilee House. The protest is scheduled to take place from April 15 to April 19, 2024, aimed at putting pressure on the government to revoke the mining lease granted to Future Global Resources Limited operators of the Bogoso Prestia mines. The union argues that Future Global Resources has not shown adequate financial capability to effectively run the mine since assuming control in 2020. Now, during a media briefing, the General Secretary of the union, Abdul Momen Bana, questioned why the ministry has not revoked the license despite recommendations from the Minerals Commission.
We expect that in accordance with the Public Order Act, 15th of April 2024, we begin the demonstrations and we begin the picketing at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Subsequently, on the 18th, the 19th, we are at the Jubilee House to demonstrate because we believe that we are being held to ransom by the officers of the state. And so the minister must do the needful. Whatever ought to be done has been done. The Minerals Commission has given its recommendation. The Attorney General's Department has acquitted that recommendation, which means that they have endorsed the position of the Minerals Commission. All the minister ought to do is to affirm and instruct the termination or the cancellation of the mining lease. And this will free all of us up so that new investors can take over the mine, workers can get their livelihoods back, the domestic economy of the Bogoso Prestia will be revamped, and at least our ailing economy can get some revenues arising out of the work that we will do there.
Well, Mr. Gwan also stated that the union has put in place an operational plan to revive the mine while awaiting potential investors to take over.
The current manpower base of the Future Global Resources mine is run by nationals. In other words, from the general manager to the least person on the mine is a black person. And so we can run that mine without any support from anybody, technically. What we only require is a few millions of dollars to enable us to revamp the place and run the place until an investor eventually takes over. And so the union has a stopgap plan. So there's a stopgap measure. And so we are not just demanding that cancellation be done and then the place is left, to stay. But there's a plan to ensure that once the mining lease is cancelled, work resumes, at least with the support of the government. Because a reverse to government, immediately the mining lease is cancelled. The current manpower base has the capacity to run the place. All government needs to do is with the support of the Minerals Commission.
You heard the General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union, Abdul Momen Bana. Away from that, traders in the Kumasi Central Market are threatening to embark on a 5-day protest over the abandonment of redevelopment of the market. The traders say the project stalled in December 2022, citing the government's explanation that it was due to the debt restructuring program. Despite assurances from the government that work will resume upon receiving the first tranche of International Monetary funds for the construction, it is yet to start. Speaking to City News, the Secretary of the Second-Hand Clothes Sellers Association, Joseph Mafo, expressed disappointment with the government's posture.
They say, yeah, but Twaba, that's 6 months. At the end of Yamay, he got in the Dahona. Until say demonstration,
we are just a few months away from the elections. All we want is for the market to be built. If government fails to do that, we will not vote for them in the elections. We have staged a number of demonstrations, but none has yielded any positive results. The traders who were relocated are recording low sales, and their suppliers need their monies. Now, this has become a burden to them.
Because we're too into a boca.
Joseph Mafu is the secretary of the Second-Hand Clothes Sellers Association at the Kumasi Central Market, who still on the issue of protests because the National Association of Institutional Suppliers has suspended a demonstration which began earlier this morning. This was announced by the leadership of the association after a meeting with the Minister for Education. The group supplies uniforms to basic and pre-tertiary schools and has embarked on a protest to demand the over 100 million cedis arrears owed them. Addressing the media, the public relations officer for the association, Emmanuel Ivor, explained that the minister has promised to settle the arrears by Monday.
All witness, we had a meeting with the authorities at the Ministry of Education just a few minutes ago, and per that we have come to a conclusion. They have actually assured us that our concerns, they've heard it, we've submitted our petition to them, and that from today, as a matter of urgency, they are starting paying the arrears from 2021-2022 academic year. Then part of 2022-2023 academic year will be paid by Wednesday. All payments will be done by Wednesday. That is 2021-2022 academic year. Then part of 2022-2023 academic year by Wednesday they will pay.
Emmanuel Ivor is a public relations officer for the National Association of Institutional Suppliers. Meanwhile, the spokesperson for the Ministry of Education, Kwesi Kwarteng, has assured of prompt payment to the suppliers.
I mean, bottom line is that Wednesday is not very far from here. Today is Monday. Today in the meeting, the Director for Finance, Mr. Boni himself was there. The Chief Director was there. And I mean, they confirmed and also affirmed to the fact that they are working on their checks. And so we are very hopeful that Wednesday, in terms of all the issues that they've raised, particularly those bordering on the outstanding areas, will be cleared. Even today, we wanted to even give them some of their checks, but apparently when we asked them to give the companies that are available, unfortunately they were a bit reluctant. I don't want to use unable to, but I mean, bottom line is that we have taken responsibility. We urge them to exercise patience. I mean, these are it involves a lot of processes, and we'll be able to address it as soon as possible.
You heard Kwesi Kwarteng. He's a spokesperson for the Ministry of Education. Now, some graduate unemployed nurses and midwives comprising those from the 2020, 2021 and 2022 batches are demonstrating in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, to demand postings. The unemployed graduates from various public universities and nursing training colleges have expressed disappointment over the government's delays in granting financial clearance to their postings into permanent jobs. President of the association, Haruna Ibrahim, tells Citi News they travel to picket at the finance and health ministries if their demands are not met.
If I have been trained for 3 years, 2 years or 4 years, and I have to stay home for 4 years more, whatever I learned practically will decay. It will die off. So it is a national problem which we have to look at it very well, because when I go to the ward today, I have been home for 4 years, and I go to the ward today, and then, for instance, I go to the emergency and the case comes. I won't say wait for someone who has been here for 3 years to come and take care of you. It is the life of the patients we are going to take care of, who are at stake. So we are saying the government should look at this and employ us immediately.
Was there any feedback from the government after your Tamale demonstration?
The feedback we always get is very soon. Because that's when we had the first demonstration in Tamale. We were told that the Ministry of Health and then the Ministry of Finance are meeting to discuss. I don't know who instructed that, but then that was the message we got, that they have been assigned to instructed to meet to discuss our clearance.
Haruna Ibrahim is the president of the Graduate Unemployed Nurses and Midwives Association. You're listening to the Citi Prime News. We have more stories when we return. Please don't go away.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Citi TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117, and on HD+, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV. Citi TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD+ boxes. Citi TV, it's your world.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, the Locked Up Investment Holders Forum says it is hopeful of a positive feedback from the Ministry of Finance on their petition demanding the release of their locked up funds. The group protested on Wednesday, March 27, urging the Bank of Ghana to address the issue of investments trapped in BOG-regulated financial entities and pressed upon the Finance Minister to do same. In an interview with Citi News, convener of the group, Dr. Eduanani Entry, appealed to the ministry to immediately attend to their concern.
The Bank of Ghana says they are ready to revoke the license as soon as government gives the Bank of Ghana assurances that there will be funds available to settle this all this debt, as the government did in 2017-2018. So we are appealing to the government through the Ministry of Finance to ensure that provision is made so that the Bank of Ghana can go ahead and revoke the license and pay investors. The letter was sent, as I said, on Thursday. That was a day after the protest. We are yet to hear from the minister. But last Thursday was a week. And we are hoping that by the end of this week, we may hear something from the minister. If we don't hear anything, we may have to maybe send a reminder. And then we see our next course of action. If still we are not receiving any positive response from the ministry.
Dr. Eduanani Entry is the convener of the Locked Up Investment Holders Forum. Now, a tax consultant, Jeffrey Okansi, is suggesting to government to explore other sources of revenue mobilization which have not been adequately tapped. This follows complaints from business associations, including the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, about the cost of doing business at the port. In an interview with City Business News, the tax consultant cited property rates and rent taxes as avenues which government could channel its attention to sustain the revenue collection drive.
There are certain areas that government has not explored to the fullest, like also collecting for property rates, collecting rent taxes, and also exploring the night and dawn economy to the fullest. So these are areas that they are not gray areas, but they are existing areas within the informal sector that government can maximize its collection. And as we speak, government has an opportunity to even go into the normal traders and everybody who is trading now and businesses that are owing them. So there's existing cash that is already existing because of those businesses that owe them. And there's other opportunities of collecting that is not collected. When they have done this too, to the best of their abilities, there will be money enough for you to losing the tax burden on these businesses.
You heard Jeffrey Okanse, he's a tax consultant. Away from that, the Bureau of Public Safety is attributing the seeming surge in highway robberies across the country to the lack of police surveillance. In a recent incident on the Jaso and Koko Highway, travelers were left to their fate on the night of Saturday, April 7, 2024, when a group of armed robbers reportedly seized control of the road. The attack is similar to another incident captured in a recent video showing a minibus driver and passengers narrowly escaping a robbery on the Accra-Kumasi Highway. Expressing concern over these incidents, Dr. Yao Akwada of the Bureau of Public Safety questioned the effectiveness of the police surveillance efforts, particularly their plan to deploy security for intercity buses to address highway robberies.
I'm actually calling on the police to provide us an update on that program, that commitment they made, that they were going to provide public transport, the intercity buses, with security, because if there's a policeman on board the 6th or the 7th or the 8th car, he is going to call for dispatch, backup. If there is none, then the police have not carried through their work. people have to call 122 or 19995. Was there any such call during the attack? What was the response? Does the police have any records of that? We must begin to question the system. Did the police receive a call within that enclave? Yes or no? They should verify and give us that feedback. In fact, we have a right to get that information, because everything that goes into the police is paid for by the taxpayer. So let's find out. The monies we are committing to you to run your call center, the monies we are committing to you to do public campaigns, how is it being used? Is it really yielding results?
You heard Dr. Nanaya Wakwara. He's Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety. Now to some politics. The opposition National Democratic Congress NDC has announced the recruitment of 160,000 polling agents nationwide for the upcoming 2024 general elections. These agents, according to the party, will play a crucial role in ensuring the smooth conduct of the elections across various polling stations. The party over the weekend held a training session for polling agents in 11 regions to thoroughly prepare and assess them for their roles. The NDC also announced that plans are underway to also recruit more volunteers through online platforms in the near future to contribute to the party's efforts. Rashid Tanko Computer is the Deputy Director of Elections of the party.
We have started preparation towards the 2024 general elections. It's a process. The first layer of training is what we embark over the weekend. By training our trainees across the regions. These training of trainees are going to go down to the constituencies to also train our constituency executives. Ultimately, we train the party agents that we are going to recruit for the December polls. Because we realize that the most important aspect of this business is to have a well-trained trainer of training who can also go and train our party agents to understand the nitty-gritty for the statement of completed 11 regions of such training, and then this coming weekends we will complete the other 5 regions so that we can focus on the limited registration, after which we zoom back to the agent training itself. We have taken our time to carefully craft the manual in such a way that it covers every aspect of our electoral process in Ghana. And then so therefore, and the kind of personnel that we have recruited to be our agents this time around, don't be surprised, you see a lot of former ministers, former DCs. You see a former appointees being agents. So you can imagine this high level of personnel going to be our agents, and they are going to be trained.
You heard the Deputy Director of Elections of the National Democratic Congress, Rashid Tanko Computer. And now the leadership of the National Service Personnel Association has stated that NSS personnel are yet to receive their January allowances. This contradicts the update provided by the National Service Scheme, which claimed that payment for that month had already been disbursed to personnel. In a statement dated April 5, the Director of Corporate Affairs, Armstrong Issa, said all eligible personnel would receive the allowances through eSwitch at their respective banks nationwide. However, Nana Edujemfi Mensah, the National General Secretary of NASPA, tells City News the claim is not accurate.
As such now, we have been reliably told that the payment has been done, but then the disbursement is yet to our card. We are being told that it takes about 48 hours for the payment to reflect. And so if the payments were made on Friday, by Tuesday, then our money should reflect on our card. So if latest by the close of tomorrow, the money are still not yet reflected on our card, then we can't say on record that the payment has not been made. And that's because the discussion we had with management last week or last 2 weeks, we gave them up until the Friday of this week. If another payment is not done, then just like we threatened the last time with the strike and an eventual demonstration, we go ahead with that. We are not so happy, obviously, because there are still areas that have to be paid. But then I think in a way we should also commend the Secretariat how they have been responsive to our plight, because we wouldn't want to blame solely the Secretariat, but then at this point, it is not really our duty to care or to sympathize with anyone. We just need our money because we have worked for it.
Nanedu Jemfi Mensah is the National General Secretary of the National Service Personnel Association. Now, environmental scientist Professor Chris Gordon has predicted that temperatures this year will be hotter than last year. 2023 has been tagged as the warmest year since global records began. NASA analysis confirmed that global temperatures last year were 1.2 degrees Celsius above the average baseline period of 1951 to 1980. Schools in Sudan were shut 3 weeks ago following an extreme heat wave hitting 45 degrees Celsius. Speaking on the City Breakfast Show, Professor Chris Gordon decried the contributory human factors causing the heat stress in Ghana.
Unfortunately, 2024 is going to be hotter than 2023. That is the trend. Globally and nationally, every year is hotter than the previous year on average. I should point out that I just checked the records. In January 2021, Accra had a temperature of 39.5 degrees centigrade, which is almost 7 degrees higher than the normal. And it is those spikes which are the problem. We have made a mess, as I've been saying for decades now, and we need to solve it. The way we design our building, the trees we just decimate, the space in between buildings. Back in the day, we are supposed to leave 10 feet between your fence wall and the building, i.e. 3 meters. Now people are building 1 foot away from the fence wall. We have problems of the glass that you're talking about. And I don't know if you remember the Legon buildings of old. None of them were air-conditioned. Mm-hmm. They all had these big glass louver blades mounted in wood.
You heard Professor Chris Gordon. He's an environmental scientist. Meanwhile, Deputy Director at the Ghana Meteorological Agency, Joseph Potofi, is confident Ghanaians will enjoy some respite with the onset of the rains.
For us in Ghana here currently, we can say it is the apparent movement of the sun. When I say apparent movement of the sun, about 2-3 months ago, the sun was in the southern hemisphere. Though the sun doesn't move, but the Earth's position to the sun is in the southern hemisphere. And then as we go along, it is moving to the northern hemisphere. And we are closer to the equator. And when we are closer to the equator, it means the apparent movement of the sun is always directly on us. And that is why we said normally in March is the hottest month in Ghana. And when you look at the Ghana balance, they call March as Ocho Krikri. Ocho means something is burning, and it is burning very harsh. So that is month. And as we are going outside the month, we should be expecting it maybe to the 3rd week of April, then we can get out of the hot temperatures. Fortunately, the rains are also setting in. So those rains will also subdue the temperatures that we are having. So we should expect this, and then hopefully by 2-3 weeks' time, we should get out of this heat.
He had the Deputy Director of the Ghana Meteorological Agency, Joseph Potofi. The government has been urged to prioritize public health education and awareness creation in dealing with the rising cases of non-communicable diseases in the country. This follows a recent surge in cardiovascular diseases, particularly in the Greater Accra, Eastern and Ashanti regions, causing concern among health experts. Speaking to City News, the National Coordinator of the Ghana NCD Alliance, Labram Musa, urged the government to redirect its focus on taxing products that increase risk of contracting NCDs.
The government should prioritize preventive or promotion activities. We should dedicate more and be deliberate about awareness creation about these products. Actually, people will be aware that consumption of these will lead to chronic condition that eventually will lead to death and then problems. And then also there's a need for us also redirect our focus in taxing, these products. Enforcing and also taxing them hugely because these products are, we call them addictive products. So government needs to tax them, and the more you tax them, the more government you get more revenue. You get more revenue, and because it's an addictive product, the extent of reduction in the use is not very high. Of course, once you tax them, you get the money to invest in health promotion and also supporting the healthcare system because this is what other countries have done. Right. And they've been able to support, their healthcare system to a large extent.
You heard Labra Musa. He's the national coordinator for the Ghana NCD Alliance, and that is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio in Adabaka, Accra. For more news, please visit citynewsroom.com. My name is Ajuatin Kramadumna. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your afternoon.
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.